Well, look who's back again, tater tots. Welcome to the stage of all stages, the pink palace of pettiness, the gay gas station on the highway of herstory, the official Couch Potato Queens recap of RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 10, where the wigs are high, the stakes are higher, and the shade is FAA approved for takeoff. I'm your host with the most trauma and the best contour to cover it, the one and only Mackenzie. And baby, we've got a bracket battles, villain edits, and alliances shakier than a busted lace front on a roller coaster. RuPaul said sports, and now I'm learning math against my will. What is the semifinal, and why are the dolls fighting for it? But fear not, I'm not facing this tournament of drag catastrophe alone. Oh, no. Joining me tonight are two icons, two legends, two queens so fierce they make Lucifer sweat. First up, she's the queen of the Midwest mug and moral support, a glamazon with opinions sharper than a stiletto heel to the throat, my bestie, my ride or die, and the only woman I trust with my lipstick vote. Give it up for Dakota. And y'all, fresh from a Category 5 lip sync storm, she's the reigning empress of elegance and chaos, the thunder you hear when a diva enters the room. Make some noise and throw your wigs in the air and scream for the always electrifying Tsunami Rain Duval.
Hi.
Now, y'all, grab your popcorn, clutch your pearls, and say a little prayer to the ghost of Santino Rice, because we are diving headfirst into a bracketed battle of glam, grit, and god-tier drama. This is All Stars 10. Let's get shit. Welcome back. How y'all doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. How y'all doing? How you doing, Tsunami?
I'm doing good. It's been a long week, but I'm glad to be alive, you know?
Yeah, life's overweighted. Oh, show them your painting.
Oh.
You put it up too fast. Girl, he got the perfect thing to represent us.
It's all three of us.
Look how cute, right?
Oh my gosh. Are those ostriches?
Yes.
Those are so... Did you paint that?
No.
Oh, that's so cute though.
Ain't it?
Which one am I? That's the three of us.
Well, I got the crown. You're the one with the funny hat. You're the one with the funny hat, Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
Bradley's the one that's always wearing a hat.
Okay, well, he can have a hat. You can have glasses.
Yes, I'll be the one with the hat.
Sophie Duffy said, did we hear about House of Villains being exclusive to Peacock starting next season? I have not heard that, Sophie Duffy, but if you'll send me the link to it, I will read it. And he said, see you back for BB27. All right, Queen, love you. Joseph Collins says, holy crap, an all-stars where no one is bad. It is amazing what happens when no one needs to go home. You don't have to force a bad edit to justify someone being handed a stupid plunger.
Yes, Joseph, I agree. I think the new format has a little something to do with it, but they did really good picking the girls this year.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Speaking of which, hold on, I forgot. I need to add something in because where was it at?
Girl, we were a couple minutes late tonight because the traffic, baby, in Montgomery, Alabama, crazy.
Girl.
What happened?
Just traffic. Like, I went shopping to Costco earlier to pick up a couple of things and gave myself plenty of time, and I was not expecting the traffic on the way there and then the traffic on the way home. Crazy.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
So before we get started, I want to bring up a little bit of drama that just recently got posted. Desktop. There it is. So for anyone that can't read this, there is a rumor Via TikTok, Nicole Paige Brooks stated that Maddie Morphosis had already met them at the hotel ready to film All Stars 10. However, he decided to retire the last moment. In light of this situation, production showed the queens of the second group some videos of Lydia Butthole Collins recordings, who was going to step in as the replacement for Maddie, so they could have reading material for her. Due to this last minute change, her group recordings were delayed 5 days, time to give Lydia time to prepare her looks. And we have the receipts. Straight from the horse's mouth herself.
And then when we got to the hotel, girl, she wasn't there. She was not there. And they came to our room with a laptop and said, should I say the name who got not sent there? I don't know, would I get in trouble? Anyway, so they said, this drag queen who is also a heterosexual, I can just say that, you know, is not going to be here. So this is the person that's going to be here. They're on season 17. And they showed us videos. They're like, here's her runway. Here's a couple of her runways. Here's her reading Mistress, because Mistress met her during filming. That's how we met Lydia. On the internet. It was Maddie, yeah. Who gave me the galaxy? I can't believe that.
God, yeah, girl. This is why I love Nicole Paige Brooks. Nicole Paige Brooks said, fucking NDA. I'm just going to talk whatever I want to talk about. Fuck that NDA.
Hilarious because she didn't say any names, but she's like heterosexual. The only heterosexual queen to have ever been on Drag Race. So we already know who it is.
Well, then at the end, she says, yeah, it was Maddie. Because somebody else said Maddie in the comments. Hi, Raphael. Welcome to the live stream. Sophie Duffy asked, did we hear about Real Housewives of New York? No, Sophie Duffy. Tell us what you heard about what Real Housewives of New York. And Joseph Collins said, Nicole doesn't give a damn about none of this. She's carrying the promos and the press tour queen. Yeah.
I'd say out of the like the three OG girls that are on this season in different brackets, Nicole Paige Brooks is the one that literally is a walking intrusive thought. She does not care.
Very true. Very true. I don't know. I just love the drama. I mean, now, but it makes me want to know, like, Maddie has a huge fan following. Maddie was good in her season. So, like, why did Maddie, like, drop out? And, like, I want to know why. You know? Like, that's really, like, grinding my gears that we don't know why now.
There may have been something going on. I don't know.
Yeah, it could have been like a personal thing. It could have been like maybe she didn't vibe with the cast or something, or
that's a good thought. Okay. So let's get started with this episode. If you saw at the very beginning, just a quick moment of silence to remember Jiggly Caliente. She passed away. Forever fabulous. So this episode is going to be dedicated to Miss Jiggly. Let's see here. There it is. What y'all think of RuPaul and Michelle Visage?
I lived. I loved it so much.
What do you think, Dakota?
Of Rue and Michelle looking like boarding school students. Rue in this wig and this like pencil mustache. I
love it.
I kind of live for it though.
Let's see. Raphael says there's just one runway where RuPaul in season 6 says crazy, sexy, cool. Yep. All right. So, honey, the dolls are back in town. And this time, RuPaul said no more lipstick assassinations. We're going full on March Madness, baby. That's right. Welcome to the first ever Tournament of All-Stars, where queens come bracketed, battered, and ready to brawl for a spotlight in the Drag Race Hall of Fame and a very non-tax deductible $200,000 cash prize. This is not your regular All-Stars. This is brackets, brackets, brackets. 18 queens, 3 brackets, 6 queens per bracket, No eliminations yet, just points, pressure, and possibly pettiness. And our first batch of beauty includes Asha, the ballroom brawler, Deja Sky, serving slim, thick realness, Irene, the alien, returning from her one episode UFO crash, Phoenix, rising from the ashes of season 3, and used to be sweet Miss Olivia Lux, dropping the sweet act, and Bosco, who is now branding herself as God's favorite transsexual. And that's a rebrand that I can worship, honey. So, episode 1 is called Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. But first off, we have the queens. Let's see. Raphael says, I feel like for this 12 is short. I would have preferred 15 episodes or something for this. Yeah, I'm going to wait and see how I feel at the end of the season, because 15 was long. So I'm hoping this won't make it seem as long. So first up on the runway, we have Miss Aja. What did y'all think of Aja's runway look?
I can't hear you, Dakota.
Oh, Dakota, you're muted.
Sorry, y'all. I was like plugging my laptop in a couple of seconds. I guess I must have hit it. But I said this in we did like a little intro episode a couple days ago, and she was my for this bracket, she was my slay of the day for this look. For me, I loved it. I thought it was kind of a conglomeration of a bunch of different things. I loved all of it. And this is like a really elevated look for her, because although she redeemed herself on All Stars, and we know she's kind of a look queen from being in the ballroom scene, I thought this was very, very good for her. And this was my slay of the day.
So I am going to mop it. I think that it is a really great outfit and look on her. Very much speaks who Aja is. So I give this mop it.
I also will say mop it. And for anyone that's watching, we rate Queen's looks based off Slay of the Day, which is an iconic look. We each can only give out one Slay of the Day unless we change these rules in the beginning. If we want to mop it, that means we would steal it for ourselves, because mop it is a drag phrase for stealing. If we think it's just, they could have done better, it's not like something that we would want, but we, just think they could have done better, we're going to call it a popcorn pass, or meh. And a couch catastrophe is a look that is a complete disaster. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. So let us know in the comments what you think. What did you think of Miss Aja's look? And moving on along, we go to Miss Deja Sky. Tsunami.
So Deja Sky, well, she came around with stars on her. She looked really, 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 really well put together. I love the black and the stars, but it could have been more of, expensive look, more so. But looked good on her. She looks well representing, and I like it. So I'm just going to mop it.
Me and Mackenzie both said in our intro episode a couple days ago that we liked her runway look way better than her promo look. Mm-hmm. Although they were both pretty for different.
We liked her. Well, yeah. Well, I think we liked her promo look better because of the big flowing cape.
Oh, I know it's looking at it on the runway when you watch it. It is just kind of like a simple black latex dress with the stars coming from it, but sometimes simplicity, plus I love the iridescent stars on it. I like her runway look better than this look. Again, I don't mind her promo look. I just think that her personally her runway look was prettier and stronger. I feel like there's some things like she could have bedazzled her actual dress part. And I feel like if she would have done less big and multicolored stones on the inside, I think it would have made it look like more cohesive and like more expensive. But the cape, honestly, the cape is what's make it, like pulling it together and making it stronger of a look. But I like her runway look better, personally.
Joseph Collins says, if you give a couch catastrophe on either episode, I call shade. These runways all fit very well. You could take a mediocre dress and make it work if the fit is on point. We'll see, because I might disagree with you on that. But I mean, I will. Well, let me judge this first. So for Deja Sky, I'm gonna say I'm gonna mop this look. I agree with what Dakota's saying. Like, I wish she had dragged it up a little bit more, but for an entrance look, it's not bad. I think we're confusing, you know, I don't want to confuse these looks with a runway look, because they're not a runway look. It's their entrance look. They just didn't have an entrance because of how it's set up. To what Joseph is saying, and that's something I was going to bring up later, but I was kind of disappointed by some of the looks that we saw in the first 2 episodes. Not all of them, but a few. I just wish they had been elevated a little bit more, because these are queens that have been working for years. They have money and costumes. And I think it was the second runway is really where some of them were. It was like one thing from the front and something from the back. Some of those I didn't care for, but they all look good. I just don't think this season of All Stars is as elevated based off the first 2 episodes as what we got last year from people like Chanel, from who's the queen? That kept giving all the looks. She had like $100,000 package.
Plastic Tiara.
Yes, Plastic Tiara. Yep. So like this, we have not gotten elevated from what we had last year. Got Mick. Thank you, Raphael. Got Mick. Exactly. So yeah, I don't think it's as elevated based off the first 2 episodes as what we had last season. What do y'all think?
I feel like these looks for these certain drag queens are elevated from their original season. If we're comparing it to other drag queens within the franchise, yeah, maybe it's not as strong as some of the look queens, but Deja's not really a look queen, but this is elevated compared to her on her.
Oh yeah, I'm not talking about for Deja. I was just talking about in general because of Joseph Collins' comment. Yeah.
I think, I mean, I would mop these looks for her, but also I don't think me and Mackenzie had any. I think she might have had one based on one of the other brackets, I think, when we were talking about it in the last episode, but I don't think any of us had a couch catastrophe. Mackenzie might have had one, but I didn't. I said I'm either going to give it.
I didn't like Lux's.
I'm either going to okay. I had a slay of the day, and then I mopped the rest of them.
All right. Moving on, we go to Miss Irene the Alien.
Yeah.
I would mop this all day, every day. It's not my slay of the day, but it's a close slay of the day.
Yes. I agree.
I already gave my slay of the day to Aja, but this was my close second. I kind of fought in my head about it. It's not my aesthetic, but it's beautiful, and I wish I could pull something like that off, so I would mop it. That's why I didn't give it the slay of the day, because I probably personally couldn't pull it off or wear it, but I would mop it.
Oh, and we lost Sadami.
Her phone might have died.
Might have. Oh, there she is. Welcome back, girl.
I was muted earlier, and then Tsunami just like falls.
I think she was like me, and she went to close out tabs, and she closed out the wrong tab, because I've done that before.
Well, I was checking also another
girl.
I've never linked my social media accounts to the stream, and I did it this time, but like I can't tell if I'm afraid.
I can see here, and it shows your 2 links, and it shows green check mark next to them. So we've got 5 linked.
Cool.
I don't even know how to add mine, girl.
In the upper right-hand corner, you should see where it says add social media or add account or add a media account.
Sign up free.
No, it should be right next to that.
Well, I think you have to do the sign up free thing first, but it's probably going to take a good.
Don't worry about it now. Just do it next time. So it does, because I think you have to do a couple of things to get it to work.
It took me a couple minutes to set it up today.
So the next queen that we have is Olivia Luck. Oh no, it's not. It's Phoenix.
I would mop both looks. She is very old school drag.
This one over here on the side, we're not talking about that. Look, that's just, I'm going to put that up every time we're talking about a queen, just so we know who we're talking about. So that's just.
So we're not right. Like, I guess because me and Mackenzie technically rated the promo looks, we're just doing the runway, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So, I would mop it very, Phoenix. She is one of the OG queens. And Joseph Collins said, Irene looks a lot like the Emperor from Baldur's Gate 3. I wouldn't be surprised if that wasn't the inspiration.
I could see that. Yep.
Okay. I would mop this. It's, she's an OG queen. She's an Atlanta queen giving us OG pageant pride drag. So I would mop it.
Raphael says, this is a RuPaul's version of Yeevy's song, Winner, Winner, Chicken Dinner. Okay, gotcha. That makes more sense now. What do you think of this, Tsunami?
I really like the whole costume. It's giving Death Becomes Her Broadway. The woman with the vial, girl. I love the way it looks. I love it's giving Colors of the Phoenix. So, yeah, I like it. I mop it.
I would also mop this look. I thought it was really good. And I'm happy to see her back. So, see how she does. Yes. Next up, we have Olivia Lux. I thought I would mop this look as well. It's very different. I love the hair. Her skin looks great. Very polished.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait. I did my slay. Now that I'm thinking, I did my slay of the day based on Aja's promo look and not her runway look.
Don't forget, though, you got Bosco coming up, too.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I might have to change it because I thought we were doing like promo and the runway together. Okay.
Nope, just the runway.
Okay. This might actually be my slay of the day. If we're going based on runway and not promo, Aja was my promo slay of the day, but I think my slay of the day for the runways is this. It's very like, it's given like elven princess from Lord of the Rings, but also it's given us like Avatar, like the Way of the Water. I love this. So I think this is my slay of the day.
Konami.
So I really like the concept of this whole look. I love the hair, the way the hair is, and I love the beautiful dress that she's wearing. So I'm going to mop it today. Her makeup is very, very well stamped, and the look all together is really, really mop it material. So.
I'm also going to mop it. I thought it was a very cool look. Yeah. Let's see here. Give me just 1 second. I'm trying to get this to upload.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, y'all. We got some technical difficulties. Because whenever you said slay of the day, it made me remember that I had done this, but hold on. Oh, well, we're doing Tsunami. You got some interesting news. Tell people where you're going to be in June.
Oh, in June. Hold on, let me get my schedule. Hold on.
Hold on.
Exactly why Tsunami was not on our last episode, because, honey, she stay busy. She stays booked, honey. Tucks hair behind ear.
Thank you. So in June, the 13th, I'm going to be at play in Nashville, and the 14th, I'm going to be at Paducah Pride in Kentucky.
Yeah.
So that's literally from Nashville all the way up to Kentucky.
And shout out to Paducah Pride because they follow the podcast, so they are a friend of the podcast.
Yes, sickening. And then the 20th and the 21st, I'm all the way in Arkansas, and then at Eureka Live, and then June 28th and 29th, I'm going to be in the Nashville Pride Parade with Crew La La. It's a dance crew, and I'm going to be performing at Nashville Pride this year. So I'm really excited. And Kim Petras is going to be there, Big Frida, 4 Non-Blondes, Estelle.
Gonna be fun.
Roster is cool. Like Mackenzie showed me the like the schedule and like the lineup of everything, and I was like, oh, they've got a full roster this year in Nashville. And I've never y'all don't hate on me. I've never been to Pride. I've never been to any Pride whatsoever. I would love to go to Pride, and I would love to go to Nashville Pride, but I can't make any promises. But from seeing the
Don't do that. You have to tell your husband not to add any coats to your cars so y'all can't pull out the driveway.
Girl, it's going to be sickening. Like, I have backup dancers. We're going to be dancing and slaying and bringing the waves to.
Well, I hope you video it so we can show it here on the channel when you come back for podcast. Okay, so Dakota, what did you say this was? Is your what?
I can't remember the other few girls, their runway looks, so I was paying more attention to the promo looks, but I think this is my slay of the day.
Hey.
And Raphael, I do agree. That was also another reference that I forgot to add in. Yes, it is giving Storm from X-Men. Yes.
Just Colin says, Eureka is a blast, huge gay scene, and a big motherfucking Jesus up in the mountains. The town is wild. Yes. I used to write for a magazine called Out on the Town magazine, and it was based out of Eureka. So, Eureka is lots and lots and lots of fun.
I'm thinking about it. I might go to it because I've got family that lives in Hendersonville. It's like 20 minutes outside of Nashville. It's like a suburb where Taylor Swift grew up. But that's where I have a bunch of family there. So I might stay with them and just like go to it because I'm sure my cousins that live there would love to go too.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Next up, we have Miss
Bosco. The body of the season. She giving us body. I would mop it if I had her body. But baby, I do not have her body. So yeah.
Well, I'm just gonna say this is my fucking slay of the day. It's my slay.
Rightfully so.
I don't care if I have the body for it or not. My camel toes would be hanging out. My moose knuckles would be hung out on each side of this. I wouldn't give a fuck.
Her boobs are so perfect. They almost look prosthetic. Like that.
I fucking hate her for her fucking boobs.
Like, I paid good money. Mackenzie paid good money for hers, and mine are huge, but like,
I wouldn't say we paid good money. We got a good deal. Like
hers,
we got.
Bosco's they look prosthetic. I mean, it literally looks like she's wearing a breastplate because there's
she paid $25,000 for her titties.
Who?
She looks like she paid $25,000 for her titties.
Yeah.
We paid $3,000 for our titties.
4,000. And Bosco probably paid like over 15,000 for hers.
I paid 3,000 because I got mine 10 years ago. All right. Next up we have so let's really quickly show.
Okay, yeah. Seeing everybody on the lineup, yeah. Olivia was my slay of the day for the runway looks. But For the promo looks, a few days ago, it was Aja was my promo look slay of the day.
Judge Collins said, Joan Collins, eat your heart out. This makes Dynasty's shoulders look like an 80s after-school special. Exactly.
Yes.
But we're going really quickly. Dakota, this is Team Dakota for our draft picks. She has Miss Nicole Page Brooks. She has Cynthia Lee Fontaine. She has Aja. She has Lydia Butthole Collins. She has Ginger Minge. And she has Miss Deja Sky. For my draft picks, I have Miss Carrie Colby. I have Olivia Lux, which I regret after I see her behavior. Then I have Tina Burner. I have Irene the Alien. I have Miss Diabetes and Mistress Isabel Brooks. Now, Tsunami, you weren't here, but we try to do you good. We try to give you some good ones.
I did.
Yeah, well, we're going to give her a couple of them. So,
well, all I gotta say is, like, most of these on here are the ones that I was picking, anyways.
That's
so
what
you got Georges, Bosco. You've got Acid Betty. You have Miss Phoenix. You have Miss Denali, and you have Miss Alyssa Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, Tsunami and I had similar draft picks when we were just roughly going over it. When the promo picks leaked, and I do remember her top picks, and I remember Alyssa Hunter was number one, so I was like, we're giving her Alyssa Hunter, and then Mackenzie said Denali was another one, and then I remembered a couple of the others that you had said, and I was like, I'm gonna let her pick before me on some of these just to make it fair, but I tried to pick people that I remember you said that you really wanted.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Here are the queens on the main stage. The gals walk back into the workroom swinging bigger narratives than Aja's ponytail, and Mother was watching. We got trauma, transformation, and tenacity. Aja is here to villainize and vaporize. Deja has dropped 60 pounds and picked up a little delusion. Irene is dragging her title as the lowest ranked queen in history, and like it's couture. And Phoenix is giving Mom finally got a weekend off.
I thought, okay, if we're gonna be honest, I think they were kind of shady putting people's body types with the bodysuits with their names. I think they should have all made them like one size across the board, because some of the girls are pointing out, they're like, I think we switched some of these up because I'm smaller than her, like, or I'm thicker than her. Like,
well, to be fair, they do this every season for the girls, and they give them a mannequin that's to their size, so that if they have a design challenge, they have a mannequin that's their size. So I think that's what they did here, is they just have their mannequin and they just put a suit on, because they do wear these suits later on in the season.
Yeah, I think they wore them in like a secondary promo or something.
But it's also kind of like a sports tournament, and then you've got the, the numbers or their score above, so it's kind of like, locker room type thing. But yeah, if I was the fat girl there, which is going to be Deja in this group, I would have been pissed too. But I mean, hey, she's lost weight, so good for her. Let's see here. The girls are talking, and we find out that Lux and Deja, I'm not going to call her Olivia because Olivia is too sweet. This bitch is now a fucking cunt. So I'm going to call her Lux. Hi, Mary. Love you too.
We heard that she was going to be the villain of the season. I don't know if she's going to be the villain. I just feel like she's going to be, from what we've seen in the first 2 episodes that dropped, she's going to be maybe like the brat of the season. And I feel comfortable saying that because I feel like anybody else that saw her with her little spat with Bosco, it's giving very brat. It's giving very like emotional, upset child. Like that's kind of what it's giving.
Lux and Deja are trying to make an alliance from the beginning, and they're going to call themselves the Melanin Squad and include Aja. Then we have Irene and Bosco, and we find out that Irene and Bosco have a pre-existing relationship, as do Lux and Aja, as they are in the same house. Joseph Collins says, she's bitchy and I'm living. Ballroom rubbed off on her. I kind of like it better than the season 13 Olivia. I disagree, but we'll get to that here in just a little bit. Then we have Deja and Phoenix are talking one-on-one about how, Phoenix is happy to be back and we're happy to see her. Mary says people don't like season 14 and 13, and I think Irene is probably why. Irene might be why, because people didn't like that she got kicked off so early, but I think Irene,
I don't think, although Irene may look problematic this season because she likes to quote unquote pick fights, but that's just her way of bonding with the girls. Like if you're backstage at a drag show, pretty much anywhere, and you don't wear your feelings on your shoulder, that's how the girls bond. She's just showing it in front of the cameras now. But I don't think how they're people have said, oh, maybe she's problematic because she picks fights and the things that she says, or as Bosco, one of her friends, said, oh, well, she likes to come for people and some people don't know how to take her. But I don't think she was as outspoken and problematic as Mistress is, and her and Mistress are friends. I think Mistress likes to stir the pot, whereas Irene likes to pick the fights.
She said, I meant more as Irene the first out and outshined the season 13, 14. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, and you said something to me about that earlier when we were talking, and you're like, oh, the drama between Irene and everything. And I was like, I didn't see that, but yeah, I think, what do you think, Tsunami? I feel like Irene is just, it's drag banter back and forth. That's how queens talk to each other, like Dakota was just saying.
Absolutely.
Nothing she said has been out of line so far. The only out of line fight was Olivia's reaction to Bosco. And yes, Bosco might not should, and she apologized for it. She might not should have picked on her in those moments, but I mean, it is what it is.
Bosco literally just said one thing to her.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, girl, kisses. And she got so upset by it. Now, Irene, I know Irene, some people are going to be like, oh, Irene and Aja, people that she was coming for Aja, blah, blah. She wasn't. They were literally just playing. They were smiling at each other. That's literally what the girls do. I'm not even a drag queen, and I've never even really been backstage at a drag show. I just know this is how Mackenzie is a retired drag queen. And this is literally how me and Mackenzie talk. If we aren't reading each other, then we're having a bad day. That's how you know someone is friends, if you can roast each other.
Absolutely. A lot of the times as well, if I'm not rating you and having fun with you, then I don't like you. I may like you, but we're not
But if I can't feel comfortable enough to read you or be shady around you or say things, because I'm a shady bitch, I'm going to admit it. So if I have to hide who I really am around you, then that means I'm not comfortable around you. Then that means I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're on your best behavior around somebody, it's exhausting because you can't really be. It's like when you were younger, going to church, you had to be and stuff. Joseph said she's not pulling Discord Adams. Irene is just keeping it real and having fun. You want to see fights? Look for season 18.
So, spoiler alert. I'm going to hold a finger up. If you don't want to know possibly something that's going to happen for season 18, mute, and I will put my finger down when I'm done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Season 18, there's a rumor that a queen has done some really racist shit, has said some shit, or done something, and they have been kicked off of the season in the middle of filming. So, bing, we're done talking about it. Moving on. So, moving right on along, Mary says, we not mutant. Well, girl, I appreciate that. I like people who like spoiler. But some people don't like to know. They just want to be surprised, and they're going to get surprised.
But like we said, banter in the community is literally most of us' way of bonding. Maybe not the new age, but the old school way. You roasted each other. There was friendly banter. You were low key, throwing shade at each other. That's just how you bond. Nobody wants to be on their best behavior or have to dull their shine around other people just to make other people comfortable. When you're doing roasting each other, that just means you're comfortable around each other and you're friends.
Yep.
So
this, for this week, this is not no cute little ballad week. The challenge this week, write original metalhead lyrics, and rock a glam hair band fantasy in a full music video called Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. Baby, these wigs were teased, their souls were tested, and some of those vocals should have stayed muted. So we have the queens here writing their lyrics. Irene and Aja are talking about Aja's music career, and Irene feels confident in a performance challenge because that's what she does. But she's nervous about how she stacks up against the other Scott girls. Deja and Phoenix are talking, and Deja is nervous, but Phoenix says, I don't sing, girl. Bosco and Olivia are talking, and Olivia says, as all stars, they are all good at everything. But Bosco doesn't buy it. She also says that she's going to give a heavy metal stripper. And Olivia says that she doesn't do heavy metal, but more soft and demure. Bosco is saying people don't need to go into this lightly. It is time to blow your fucking load and give it everything because the finish line is a lot closer than you think it is. I am loving Bosco's commentary this season.
She was really, I feel like she was pretty comfortable her season, and she did really well. She made it to top 5, although she was in the bottom a couple of times until she got to top 5. But she did pretty good on her season. But since she's transitioned, she's just really like coming to her own. And like we're really seeing like this other side. I think that's why I agree with some of our followers saying that it's a really good season, because I feel like since we've seen some of these girls, some have transitioned, some have lost weight, some have like, you know, really gained more confidence in themselves. So we're really seeing like their true authentic selves. And I think that's why it's such a good season, because we don't have all these girls with like a wall up or this barrier that they don't even know they have up. So we can't really get it. I think everybody is being 100% true to themselves, and it's just going to be a better season because of it.
So I'm going to ask Dakota this question because Tsunami already knows the answer, because Tsunami and I did a little exercise before the episode started because we were waiting for Dakota to get here. So Dakota, if you got cast tomorrow on RuPaul's Drag Race season 19, and you know there's going to be a singing challenge, and you know there's going to be a roasting challenge, what are you going to do ahead of time?
I'm going to call a couple of comedy queens or comedians that I may or may not know, well, that I don't know, and get some jokes. And I am going to go to my retired choir teacher and get some vocal training lessons before, or I get someone to write me some basic lyrics that I could use with any style of music. That's what I would do, because I like to over-prepare.
Now, I like the music lesson thing. I like the comedy.
Loved it.
But here's where I'm going to call. From now on, I, Mackenzie Gray, am calling bullshit on all these queens that come to Drag Race. Oh, I'm not a singer. I don't know how to write lyrics. Oh, I'm not a comedy queen. I don't know how to read, no bitches. I went to ChatGPT, and here's what I typed in. I'm going on RuPaul's Drag Race. Give me 7 generic reads that I can use on any queen. Make them witty, catty, funny, and campy. Tsunami, girl, you're like a Wi-Fi signal at a drag brunch. Weak, unreliable, and somehow still asking for tips. Dakota, you're the human equivalent of meh. Not quite bad enough to hate, but definitely not good enough to remember.
Damn.
Tsunami, you're so basic, I could use you as a primer. Dakota, the only thing tighter than your tuck is your budget. And baby, both are showing. Tsunami, you've got charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. Just not in the same outfit or lifetime. Dakota,
Okay.
you've got a face for radio, a voice for mime, and the energy of a sedated sloth, but you're here, and that's brave. I mean, those are pretty good reads for ChatGPT. So queens that go on there, I don't know how to read. That took me less than 30 seconds to get. Dakota said crickets.
She's like,
Oh, yes, call Megami for lyrics. Then I said, now help me come up with some catty lyrics for a generic song. My name's Mackenzie, and I like to think of myself as the queen bitch. So, stepping out of the shadow, I don't need your light. Bitch, I'm bringing the sunshine and the fight. Snatched like my waist and sharp like my wit. You try to come for me, now you're throwing a fit. Lip gloss be popping, my ego's colossal. I walk in the room and you turn into a fossil.
I would maybe get my lyrics from ChatGPT. The reads were a little tired and unoriginal.
The reads were better than what some of these bitches bring.
I mean, I honestly would just take a day or two and write like 6 or 7 really, really good reads that I could use against anybody and just edit them to the person I'm putting it on. But ChatGPT's reads.
But think about this. Remember All Stars? I think it was All Stars. Was it 6 that or 5 that Jiggly was on?
Season All Stars or regular season? All Stars season 5.
Okay, so they walked in the workroom and their first challenge was the reading challenge before they had gotten, they'd only been there 5 minutes and the first challenge was the reading challenge. So sometimes you can't sit there and wait to try to pair it to something generic. Like you have to already have something and have like some things memorized.
Well, that's the thing too. A lot. Sorry. A lot of. Sorry, I'm gagging.
Just Colin said, Irene and Asha brought them good reads. God, I hope they both make it.
Yeah. I think Asha, like coming from ballroom, and then Irene just being a problematic queen. I think that helps them, but
well, and you said this last season, Dakota. You were like, if you were you're like, because we talked about this last season, I'm gonna go and take some sewing lessons. I'm gonna go and have a basic pattern for a dress in my bag already. And I'm gonna have my, and we've already talked about it. It's just you've got to be prepared. And I'm not gonna read Phoenix too much because she is a friend of the podcast. But girl, like, you're not as memorable as I know you can be in these first couple of episodes, and that's kind of sad to see. And I feel like she just went in there like, oh, well, I'm not a singer, and oh, I'm not an actor, and oh, I'm not this. But and on a competition where you're going to have to do those things. So if you're wanting to go back on All Stars, are you not going to sit there and take some classes? You can take 2 or 3 classes, or shit, you're from the old school season. Call it someone like Chanel, who, while last season, it took her a while to get on her feet. She still was a very top contender all the way across, and she was performing at a great level all the way across. It was just she was on a different season with a different format. Call someone who's been there and done it and get some help.
I think what throws the OG girls that are from earlier seasons that haven't been on an all-star season or another franchise in the last 10 to 15 years, I think what throws them is not only is the format different, the set is different, the rules are different. Even filming and the camera and the filters and stuff different. Everything is completely different. So they're just trying to get in the mode and get used to everything. But all the other girls that have been on a past season and earlier, a couple of seasons ago, or they've been on an all-star franchise, they're a bit more used to the chaos of everything. I think that she came into it expecting something. I think the OG girls get a little overwhelmed at first. And it takes an episode or 2 for them to kind of shake it off and get into gear.
But that's the problem with this format is you don't have an episode or 2 to shake it off. Okay. You got 3 fucking episodes. So, all right. So Mary said she seated Arietta to the ground. So, of course, she knows how to be shady. Yep. So, let's move on along. So, the queens go on to the main stage. And it's time for choreography with Jamal Sims. Some of these girls had heavy metal in their boots because the rhythm was not in their bodies. And Phoenix, I'm looking at you. But she was trying. But it's like you said, I felt like she was trying to get out of her head. But it was it's hard to translate. And like I hate it for these queens that do that because Jamal Sims, he's the person that casts for Drag Race Live, I think. So you really want to shine when you're in front of Jamal Sims because you want him to be like, this girl can pick up choreography. This girl's fun to work with. This girl doesn't have an attitude because you want to be cast for other things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they get done with that, and it's time for the main stage. And shout out to Ice Spice for guest judging and somehow keeping a straight face. I loved this dress on Michelle, or I mean on RuPaul.
Yeah, and I was thinking I love this. It kind of looks like a shorter version of what she wore for the Liza Minnelli dedication, but just longer. I will die on this hill. I like Ru in a floor length dress, gown, whatever. I like it to be on the floor. She has beautiful tiny legs, and she used to show them off a lot more in her little cat suits and bodysuits and leotards back in like the 80s, 90s, and early thousands. But on RuPaul's Drag Race, I want her in a gown.
So allegedly, Tsunami may know if this is true or not. She knows. I don't think what you're seeing is RuPaul's real legs. I think RuPaul's legs are toothpicks. And from what I remember, I think Matthew said that RuPaul pads from her ankles all the way up to her ass.
It looks, the way her padding is, it looks like she starts padding at her knees and then goes up from there because her calves are still really tiny.
Yeah. But yeah, Ross Matthews, he looked like Pepto-Bismol, got vomited on. Michelle Visage, I did not really like this dress on her, but I like the hair. And
RuPaul's giving us like the queen from Snow White and the Huntsman when she turns into crows and like she's wearing the all black. That's what it's giving. I love this fringe gown on her. Like, I love this. And I know Mackenzie has said, and a couple of people called out that black does not translate well, but they lighted this stage good for her because everything showed up on this dress.
Well, what it was is last season, see like where it's like the orange backdrop now, and there's like orange, like reflecting on the floor. Last season, it was more darker, muted colors. And so it was just everything got lost here. But this also is reflecting. So it's like reflecting the light. But a lot of these queens were wearing cloth gowns that weren't reflecting light. And that black was just, swallowing it all up.
Yeah. I like Ru in a formal gown. I will die on that hill.
Well, I love it.
Mary said, get a pass for me.
I love this black dress. I love the fringy look or the feather look or whatever. I really like it. And the wig goes great with it. I think this is one of her best runways she's ever done. And that's for me. Michelle.
Okay, so me and Mackenzie have talked about it. Tsunami. Do you agree that you like to see, especially since RuPaul's got that beautiful, milky, dark skin tone, you like her more in a buttery blonde wig than a white wig?
Yes.
Yes. I like a buttery blonde, yellowy type of wig on her. That's another thing. If she's going to do blonde, buttery blonde is the way to go. I do not like white and like some of these other really opaque, like blonde, ashy colors that just have like no vibrance or anything with her skin tone. Buttery blonde, RuPaul all the way.
I would like to see RuPaul in drag, not just gown, not just a leotard. I want to see something big.
High whore drag.
High couture, yes.
High whore, H-O-R-E.
Couture. Yeah. She needs high couture.
Yes.
Bob Mackie.
Yeah. Raphael says, why in the hell is Ross there for a challenge like this? Ross actually giving real critiques. He was fighting for his job. And somebody said, I agree, but his critiques were not his usual nonsense. I think he knows his job is at jeopardy. Oh, interesting take. Moving on along to the runways. First up, we have Miss Aja.
Mm-mm.
She was so strong in challenge with her rap, with her dancing. We knew she could give she's from I think she's from the Bronx, but she lives in Brooklyn now. From the ballroom scene, we know that she's a performer. She can dance. She can get bangy. I knew that she was going to be strong in this. But I will say this was my least favorite look on the runway tonight. And it's not even just the purple, because they called her out saying, "Oh, I wish your arms, although everything's painted, I wish your arms would have been a deeper purple like your chest and everything." I just felt like it was a little, the details.
As purple chinks. She does purple chinks.
Yeah, I don't know. She was so strong in the performance, but yeah, the runway was a little, and it wasn't even just the dress for me. I think it was the body makeup is kind of what really stood out, because her arms were like a light hint of lavender, but the rest was like this deep, dark, corpse purple color.
Yeah. So Nami stepped away, so I'll go ahead and say mine. What do you give this?
I'm just gonna say, I kind of like the dress. I would mop it, but overall, it's kind of meh.
Yeah, I'm giving this a popcorn pass. It's meh for me. For every reason that you said, her face makeup isn't matching what's on her boobs. Her arms are not matching it. And they gave her such a major fucking pass. You're like, yeah, it doesn't match color-wise, but small details. That is not a small detail. In other seasons, hi Bentley, hi sweet baby. In other seasons, they have drug queens for not matching and for those little details. Queens have been in the bottom and been sent home for little details like this. I love her and I think she's a great queen, but this was a huge fuck up in my opinion, and I don't think she deserved to be in the top.
I disagree, because we know that runways only really count when it comes down to trying to differentiate who was the best in the challenge in the top two, but who
they matter when they want them to matter.
Well, yeah, but when you have people that did two people that did amazing in the challenge, and you really need to narrow it down to one, you're like, okay, well, let's base it on the runway as well.
What Mary just said, they wanted Aja to lip sync this song. That's exactly right.
Her runway was not the strongest out of everybody else's, but let's just say she was very, very, very strong in the challenge. But sorry.
That's the problem with Drag Race. If the runways are not going to matter, then don't put emphasis on the runways mattering. It either should count or it shouldn't count. And if it should count, then you should not have your arms and your body and the rest of it looking 10 times lighter than your chest looks.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Tsunami?
I do agree. I agree with both of y'all. But I do have a couple of things that I would like to say. I didn't like this whole outlook. I'm so sorry. I did not. And that's really tough, because I really, really, really like Aja, but I would definitely do a popcorn pass. This area, it just didn't look good to me. It definitely took away from everything else, and I don't know if it's contouring, but it definitely does not match her face.
I think it's because it was on a breastplate, and the breastplate was a little bit different of a base color than her natural skin tone, and of course it picks up the color different than your natural skin tone.
But yeah, so that's going to be a pass for me. Yeah.
She doesn't think she should have been in the top two. Do you think she should have been in the top two? Because I do, just based on her challenge performance.
Her challenge, yeah, but I know that a lot of people say that runways don't matter, but they do, because everybody's watching everything. So I mean, this right here is a big no, definitely, with being an all-star. So make sure you're ready for All Stars, because that right there doesn't look like she was prepared.
This looks like a rookie.
Because you can paint your boobs. You can paint your boobs to match your color. And that's definitely not her color.
But I mean, we're fixing to see another queen that painted their body and she matches. So, you know.
So who do you believe should have been in the top 2 with Irene instead of Aja?
Bosco.
Yes.
Yeah. Like none of the other queens were as good. Like they were the 3. Aja was great in her, and we'll get to the band looks in a minute. She was great in her band thing, but then she walks out with this, and it's just like such a rookie mistake. Like this is something you would see in the first 1 or 2 episodes of your very first season, not the first episode of All Stars.
Yes.
So let's move on along because we are an hour in and we're not even halfway through the first episode.
We are doing 2 episodes, so we kind of knew it was going to be.
Next up, we have Bosco.
Sickening slay of the day.
Slay of the day for me as well.
Absolutely. Like she came prepared. She knows what's coming. I mean, yes, slay. But like the hair's on point. The outfit's on point. Like what's going on? Like this is everything.
The zippers, like glue, are added to the body. You really couldn't see the seams because she used latex glue. I mean, just like attention to detail. Chef's kiss.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dakota?
I'm trying to think. I think she was my slay of the day. I was just trying to think of the other girls' runways. Aja Bosco. It wasn't Phoenix. It wasn't Lux.
The other one that had a close one, I would say, would be Irene.
Okay. Irene.
Here.
Yeah, I'll say.
Okay, there's Deja. There's Livia. There's Irene.
Show me Olivia again. I'm gonna give. Oh God, I really like this look though. Oh gosh. I'm gonna mop it.
Cool. Yeah, otherwise no notes for this look. Moving on along, we have Miss Deja Scott.
And for those of you who don't know, Bosco is trans, and those are her real boobs. She might have paid for them, but that is not a breastplate. Do not adjust your adjust your screens, but those are her real boobs. Just saying, that's how perfect they are. She looked gorgeous. I would mop this. Again, I've said it a couple episodes now. Red hair with a purple or a green dress always looks immaculate. And her deep tan skin and her she's not tan, it's just her skin color, but her deep skin color with the red and like the really baby pink blush, and then like this beautiful green like with the gold almost like that gold lame reflective aspect to it. Love. Like I would mop this. She looks so good.
Tsunami.
She's certainly trying to give, which I see. I would say definitely this is a mop it. I didn't like the dress. I loved everything else. But if it would have been a different kind of dress, it would have been fine.
Yeah. Mary is saying Olivia was safe, Deja was safe. Yep. I'm going to give this look a popcorn pass. Because love her skin, love her hair, love her makeup, and that's it. I think that was one of the critiques that they gave her is compared to the other queens, this was not slits and tits because that was the name of the runway, slits and tits. There's a slit, but there's no tits. It's all covered up. And I get she's maybe uncomfortable with her body still because she's recovering from surgery and she's trying to figure out, proportion things, but that's just still you're on a TV show, you're on All Stars,
Well, they said it would have been prettier because she's wearing a breastplate if she wouldn't have wore that that gold.
She's not wearing a breastplate.
Huh?
She is not wearing a breastplate.
It looked, well, on the runway, it looked like she had a ton of cleavage, but she's wearing like a reflective mesh.
She took duct tape and she wrapped duct tape around to push this up to give her tap because she's got fat there. And then she stuffs. Yeah.
So if she wouldn't have wore that mesh that's built into it, that has the rhinestones all over, if she wouldn't have wore that, it would have gave more. And the slit was beautiful because RuPaul's like, even like, are you wearing hose? Like, that's really your real leg. I thought it was a pretty dress. I would have mopped it. Maybe it wasn't as strong as the others, but I still think it's a gorgeous dress. So I would mop it.
Yeah, for me, this was the weakest look of the night for, on the runway.
You think this is weaker than Aja's?
The look, yes. Aja, my only problem with Aja's look was the coloring on the breastplate and the arms and the face. Makeup. I like the makeup. I mean, I like the outfit. I didn't like the makeup. That it looks just amateur to me. But I like the outfit. So, yeah, this is worse than Aja's outfit for me. Yep. Just because we're all stars, and I mean, it doesn't meet. There's no tits, Anyway, moving on, we have Miss Olivia Lux.
This was my slay of the day, look-wise, out of everybody on the runway.
Same here.
You did slay of the day for the last one, boo.
For Bosco. That's why it was a hard between the two, but this is my slay of the day.
It definitely is a hard too, yeah. She did slay though. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is my, that's why I was like thinking about it. I was like, I really like Bosco. It's beautiful, but like, I feel like this just gave more. I really love this outfit. So this is my slay of the day for the runway. I love the lavender colored hair. I love like the very like really, really muted like lavender dress. Like I love like the applique going up the arm. Love it all. Slay of the day.
Moving on, we have Miss Irene the Alien. This is my other top. Like if I could do two slays, this would be the other slay. Love, love, love this. And as someone who did Mardi Gras balls and has worn back pieces, this is not light. This is heavy as fuck to wear. So,
yeah.
I think the only difference though, because there's a color differentiation also with Irene. Yeah, hers is a little bit better than Aja's. The difference is Aja used makeup. She used a green bodysuit sleeve for her legs and her arms, but it's still, the color is off. From her chest and her face to the rest of her body, it's off.
But it's not, you really can't compare the two though, because that is still green, green, green. Whereas on this, I've got tan, light. Well, that's not even any purple in there. She's added some purple down towards the neck, and then dark purple.
Yeah.
Like at least none of this is in the same. This is not in the same category as this, which is not in the same category as this. At least on Irene, it's all green. Yes, that's a little bit of a different shade, but you can tell that that's the sleeves. But the right here, I don't think the tits and the face are the same. 100% the same. Like, I see what you're saying with that, but like, yeah, you can tell that that's a sleeve, and that's what everything is attached to. And I think it would be hard to get that light. I'm surprised. Props off to her also for going down the runway wearing green, knowing that Michelle Visage hates fucking green.
I don't think Michelle is as hateful to the color wheel that is green as of now as she was on the earlier seasons.
So yeah, I would mop it. What would y'all mop it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would mop it. I wouldn't do the green, but I would mop it. The dress. Yeah. And the headdress and everything.
And last but not least, we have Miss Phoenix.
Giving us BDSM kink realness. I liked it. It was a strong look for her. I don't feel like it was like the strongest out of all the other girls on the runway, but I love that she unzipped it and gave us boobs. She unzipped it and gave us leg. I liked it. It wasn't something that struck me as a Phoenix type of look, but it surprised me. But I really liked it. I would mop it.
What do you think, Tsunami?
I mopped this look as well. But the only thing I didn't like is that you can see the lining of the breastplate. This is All Stars. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say this. But you know, brilliant idea, but it wasn't executed the way that I thought it would be.
I completely agree. And for that reason, I'm giving it a popcorn pass, because while I would mop this look without the hood and I would wear no breastplate because I have the titties for it, it's the details. And that's why I said meh on Aja, I've said meh on Deja, and meh on Harry. You've got to be at an all-star level, because otherwise, it's, you know, and that is like a rookie ass mistake. And I don't even remember if she really wears breastplates or not. So this is giving someone who doesn't wear breastplates a lot. Yeah. And like you said, this is All Stars. Like, we're expecting.
If the breastplate would have went down her torso a little bit more, or if the dress wouldn't have unzipped so far down, I feel like it would have been fine. You wouldn't have been able to tell. But I feel like she probably could have tested it out a couple of times before she went out on the runway, just to see how it would look. But it was kind of.
You saw her, because you just said that. You did see her test the zipper on the leg, but she didn't really test the zipper on the titties. You should have tested everything you were going to show. And you can add liquid latex to the bottom of that breastplate to stick it to your body so it doesn't go anywhere. You know, there's, again, yeah. Moving on along, we get the queens getting their critiques on the runway, and we watch Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. First up, we have Aja giving her look. Like we were talking about earlier, I thought she was phenomenal in this. She was giving choreography, she was giving, heavy metal. Yeah, loved it. And I loved her lyric, "Baddie with a fatty."
She was definitely the strongest. I still think that she deserved to be in the top 2, even though her makeup was a bit off, because we know that she's not the strongest at makeup from her past seasons. It is better. But I still agree that her challenge was still stronger than Bosco's. Even though Bosco's runway was stronger, I still feel like her challenge made up for her makeup fail.
Yeah. I agree.
Next up we have our rating for this. Would you make it rain? Would you give it $1, or would you take a smoke break? I think we'd all make it rain.
Oh yeah. Make it rain. 20s.
Let's see. Mary said she loved this look, or she gets a heart, so she's loving. Next up we have Miss Bosco. I loved it. I loved her lyrics. The only problem, and I think they critiqued her, is she was turning away from the camera at times when she would do splits or do a move, and her body would be away from the camera. And you always, that stage presence 101, you always have your body turned towards the audience.
Mm-hmm. Always.
But I would make it rain on this as well, because I thought she looked wonderful.
I would make it rain.
I would make it rain.
Next up we have Deja Sky.
I'd give her $1.
Yeah, I would tip her a couple of dollars. I feel like everybody in the challenge did pretty good.
Yep. And I loved her little throwback to Little John from the Snatch Game. So I thought that was very smart. But yeah, I would give her $1. Next up we have Irene the Alien. I really liked it. I thought she slayed this. I loved her tongue game. Like, I'm sure lesbians were sitting and watching this getting wet. Like,
I felt like her choreography and her overall visual was strong. I don't feel like the lyrics were as strong as the others. So I would still tip it a couple of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah, I would make it rain for her, just because I enjoyed what she was going the extra mile for me on it. What about you, Tsunami?
I would give $2, $3.
Cool. Next up, we have Miss Olivia Lux.
Probably blow smoke.
I would tip it $1. She, like they said, her singing was a bit too perfect and soft because we know that they didn't really play into it this season, how she was kind of like the singer of her season. They didn't really play into it with production. But I will say, like, she sounded good, but it was a bit soft. Like, her voice just didn't match like the style like it could have. And her lyrics were decent too. So I would have tipped it $1.
Next up we have Miss Phoenix.
Yeah.
She seemed like she was holding back a bit. It was almost like she was like lost, or like she was like waiting for something. I don't know. It was just, and her lyrics were okay too. Like, it wasn't horrible, but I would tip it $1. That's about it.
What about you, Tsunami?
Yeah, I'd give her a tipper $1.
Let's see here. Hold on, all my shit just froze. Come on.
Okay. I'm going to backflip out of the screen.
Yeah. So overall, I thought it was cute. It was fun. RuPaul apparently loved it because she was like, Marion said she ate the video lyrics part. Said I like her look, visual too. I agree. She could be on the Hex Girls and bless her heart. Talking about, I think, things. Yep. All right. Moving on along, we find out that the top 2 queens of the week are Miss Aja and Miss Irene the Alien. And they both get 2 points. Do y'all agree?
I do.
I do agree with the top 2. I know, Mackenzie, you wish it was Bosco and Irene, not Aja, but I feel like she was that much stronger than everybody else, so it made up for her runway.
Yeah. And like I said, if they're going to make runways count or not count, I wish they would just say it. And then, because if they're not going to count, then that would save some people money and time on, big elaborate runways.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's see. We have the queens lip syncing to Think You the Shit Fart by Ice Spice. Yes, that's the title. If you're going to be as slow as Phoenix, she needed to make it a moment. Yeah, I agree. So what did you think of the lip sync?
I kind of knew Aja was going to bring it because just seeing Aja being a lip sync assassin on her season, but also seeing her on All Stars during her variety number, like, I always thought that Kennedy Davenport could not be touched, but Aja is like up there. So like, I already knew, like, Irene, I've seen some of her performances, like her lip sync performance that she got sent home on her original season, but I've also seen some of her performances in Seattle, and I was like, I'm sorry, but this song was just made for Aja. Aja's from New York. She can get very like banjy, and like she can really like break it down low. So I kind of knew that Aja was going to bring it in this performance, and I knew when she did her crisscross dance, and RuPaul was like, oh. I already knew she won. I already knew it.
Yep. I agree. Yep. Aja stomped Irene like she was stomping roaches in a Brooklyn bodega. And Ballroom won the battle, baby. And she says that she could release one fat, sweaty tear. Aja gets 1 extra point, which brings her to 3. Then, plot twist, RuPaul brings all the queens forward and tells them that one of them are standing on a trap door. Psych!
I would have ran over, me personally, because you can't roll anything out on Drag Race. You never know what the budget's going to be. And RuPaul's crazy as hell anyway. I would have ran over to either Irene or Aja. I'm like, they ain't got a
Yeah.
trapdoor. They just won.
Come on, trapdoor.
And basically, RuPaul tells all of the queens that the bottom four are going to get points to give away, and that their point to the most valuable queen, in their opinion, which is going to make it Drag Race versus Survivor, but make it sequence. So that is it for episode 1. We're moving on to episode 2, Murder on the Dance Floor. I'm going to let y'all know. We're at an hour and 20 minutes, so let's try to keep our critiques at 15 to 30 seconds each, so we can kind of power through this episode.
Into it, girl.
Queen's coming to the workroom. Mary says they're gonna do the trapdoor twist like dunking Michelle like last season. Yeah, that's what I thought at first, but then RuPaul's just messing with us. We find out that the queens, we see their numbers are updated here, and Aja's got 3, Irene's got 2, the rest have 0. And the queens start talking about, how they're going to give away points away. Bosco thinks that it would be the most fair for them to base it on merit. Then she's like, well, why don't we just give 1 point to each other so then we all have 1. Then Olivia said, well, I kind of want to give it to my friend and my sister Aja, which then makes Deja mad because she's like, well, aren't we in an alliance, bitch? But ultimately, Bosco gives hers to Phoenix. Phoenix gives hers to Bosco. Deja gives hers to Olivia, and Olivia gives hers to Deja. So we wind up with them all having 1 point. Aja still's got 3, and Irene still has 2. I feel like that was the most fair.
Yeah, that's probably what I would have done. That was very sisterly of them. That's probably what I would have done. It is nice to see Bosco bonding with Phoenix. I think that's going to boost Phoenix's confidence a little bit more, having, someone there for her to talk to. But yeah, I would have done the same thing.
That's when I started looking at Olivia a little bit differently, and she said all of that shit, because I'm like, girl, you're in a different competition than what you're playing in your mind. Like, if you give one to someone that's already got all these points, then that's making it that much harder for you to get up there with them. Why, in God's name, would you go and give somebody else that's already got 3 1 extra one just to push them even further without knowing you're going to get 1 in return? I'd be worried about trying to get my points, not giving nobody else their fucking points. And I would give 1 to get 1. You know what I mean?
And thankfully, Aja kind of understood. She's like, girl, I'm already points ahead. Like, I want you to catch up to me. Like, I want us to win this thing, together. So, if I was in the top and I had an alliance with somebody, not saying that I would, but if I did, that's what I wouldn't be mad if someone, gave their point to somebody else so that they were all even. I mean, it just makes it fair across the board.
So Mary says it's a way to box someone out like Aja. Give 1 point to Olivia. Olivia gets 1 to Deja. Deja gets 1 point to yeah. But that's the thing is, Aja does not get a point to give away. Only the bottom 4 queens do. So that's why that wouldn't work, Mary. But yeah. The girls enter the workroom the next day and realize that they are 33.3% through with the bracket. Math. RuPaul enters and tells the girls that to win this tournament, they have to roll with the punches. In enters the pit crew. Whew, looking fine. They are playing a game called Front Rolls, a mini challenge involving rolling balls up pit crew's chest with no hands. Then Mary said, so in that case, Phoenix would not get a point next week, and said, more for next week. Oh, okay, I get what you're saying. Cool. Yeah, this challenge was funny as hell.
And who would have thought that Irene would have been the thirstiest one and won both times?
Girl.
She even dropped the ball. She even dropped the ball and still won. Girl, she was hungry.
Oh, was Bosco, Deja, and Phoenix. Oh, what?
Won.
Yep.
Phoenix won, and everyone's like, Bosco is still trying to get it. She's like, I'm not done yet.
Girl, I don't blame her. I would have been rolling my body all over, especially him. Like the one she had, that's my favorite. He is fine. Whew, girl. Anyway, next group was Irene, Aja, and Olivia. And
Irene
wins this round.
I love
What is Asha wearing, first off?
Asha's giving us Velma from Scooby-Doo.
That's exactly what I was fixing to say, girl. You get out of my head.
I don't like it.
I want her to go, ruh-roh.
Lord.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. Choices. But I mean, her body looks good, her face looks good, her hair looks good. Like she
look at everybody else and then look at Irene.
Yep. Girl, Irene has done this before. That is a woman who knows her way around a man's body and is not afraid to.
When you win both times and you like drop the ball and still win, baby, you've been around this block.
You know why? Here's why Irene won. Olivia tried to be she's too busy trying to be pretty and how sweet. Aja is, well, she's got a man, so it's kind of like, okay, I'll do it. But Irene don't give a fuck. Irene's like,
you know how long Lux was stuck down at Bruno's groin area? She did that for a reason. She wasn't trying to win. She won. And she won.
Mary says, I like the Velma look. And says, for Mary, she says, you can see the hunger in Irene's eyes. And Joseph Collins, I would have died to watch Acid Betty play in this mini challenge just for the giggles. Agreed. Yeah. So then we find out that Phoenix and Irene move on to the final round. Irene wins, and she won a cash tip of $2,500. Then RuPaul says, we're going to test your improv skills. The girls had to create characters in a whodunit murder mystery. No script, just vibes. Improv, that terrifying word. And if your name isn't Jinx, Bianca, or Alaska, you're probably shaking in your 6-inch boots. The roles were snatched with no bloodshed, which is honestly suspicious. Deja Skye got Chardonnay Carrington. Phoenix got Delphi Burgundy. Olivia got Madame Bouffant. Aja is Ashley Brashley. Bosco was Kitty LeBeau. And Irene was Cherry Cheeks. Deja says that she is nervous, but said, let's risk it. Olivia went dark and mysterious. Aja said, let me have fun this time. And Bosco, well, the sweet demon queen turned trans angel, brought a full-blown cabaret madness with a lazy eye, method acting. But drama alert, Bosco and Olivia clashed over accents. It gave community theater feud, and if we're being honest, we live for a mid-rehearsal ego scuffle. But Aja isn't having it. She is like, Olivia, we are in the second week. We are halfway done, and I need you to catch up. And this is me versus the world right now, and you're over here worried about some fucking comments. And then Olivia said, this nice Olivia, the one everyone thought they were going to get with me, like on my season, I'm standing up for myself and I am talking, and it is not cute kind of Olivia. It is competition Olivia. And if you aren't familiar with that, hello. So what was y'all's thoughts on that little?
A bit ridiculous. If you ask me, I didn't really care for all that drama, honestly. It's not
no. Dakota got a new chair for her podcast. She's got a podcast corner now. Look at her new chair. So mindful, so demure. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know Olivia's on my team, like my draft pick, but like her attitude is just putting me off. Like me and Dakota were talking about it earlier. Like she's got fans from her season for a reason. Because she was, this nice, cute, fun girl that, everyone wanted to like her. Everyone wanted to be her friend because they felt like she was genuine, kind, all this other stuff. Yeah. This is giving mean cunt like energy, and it's not cute. And I mean, I know what she's trying to do. Like she feels like maybe she got overlooked some, or she was too nice in her season. But this is not the way to stand up for yourself. Mm-hmm. Like it's just coming across as hateful and mean.
Yep.
Mary said Olivia is playing this game wrong, but she lives for the drama. Same. Yep. What about you, Dakota?
The drama
Yeah.
between, yeah, I feel like it was the complete opposite of what Irene and Aja were doing. They were just having, playful workroom banter, just trying to like draw up some like drama for the screens, but like we all know that it's like, they're just bonding and stuff. We know that it's not real. I think that's what Bosco was trying to do with Olivia. And Olivia just thought that this was going to be her TV moment to show her strong, confident side that she's not going to put up with anything. But I don't think that's what Bosco was doing. I think Bosco was literally playing with her, and then it turned serious, and Bosco's like, okay, I'm just gonna cut this off. Kisses, boo. Like, whatever. I think she was just trying to end it. And like Olivia got even worse, like even more mad. I don't know. I feel like Olivia was just too much in her feelings, and she was like trying to find her moment, and it just didn't look good on her. It didn't look good on her.
Yeah, and the problem with her too is that we're sitting here, I think, well, and a lot of this, like going into a challenge like this, a lot of it is like being shady and like saying things to try to throw somebody off their game a little bit, and I think that's kind of what Bosco was trying to do, like you were just saying, Dakota. And, if Olivia was going to clap back, the time to have clapped back was after the challenge and after you saw that you fucking ate it up and like, did you see my... Or after you've won and you're sitting there in Untucked saying, you see what I did? Now, eat your fucking words, bitch. And this just was the wrong time, wrong place, wrong. Joseph said, it's kind of like if Bendy LaCreme decided to have a heel turn. She doesn't have to be a doormat, but this is kind of a bit much. I do live for the drama, or love for this drama. I think he meant live for this drama, though. And Mary said, I didn't like Olivia on her season. I didn't care for her. And now she's making me want to love and hate her at the same time.
I think a lot of Olivia's was that she was so young and she was trying to give this persona on TV back then. But like, I feel like now she wants to like break that barrier down that she created, that whole facade. But I don't feel like this was her moment to try to show that. I feel like it just made her look like a brat, essentially.
Yep, I agree. So we have Murder on the Dance Floor, which is the improv challenge. It is based on Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans area. We have RuPaul as Inspector Poussey. We have Carson Kressley as Captain Stoopy.
I honestly love him. I almost didn't recognize him. Like, why does his voice kind of sound familiar?
Right.
I was like,
short and fat.
I was like, oh my God. I almost didn't recognize him, honestly.
Girl. Then we have Michelle Visage as a hairdresser playing Michelle Visage. Hi Mason. Welcome. I thought Michelle Visage was funny. Then we have Aja playing twin sisters. I thought it was funny. I thought she was very good in this.
I thought she was, honestly, I thought that she was gonna be in the top again this week because she had the biggest role. Yeah, there was like some like moments where she kind of like wasn't giving as much energy, but I think she was trying to give like hills and valleys. Like, I mean, like the judges have always said, give us ups and down. But
no, they said that she needed to do that she was giving one note.
Yeah, but I feel like that's I honestly was getting that from her. I didn't feel like it was one note, but I feel like she had the most lines and she was like on screen the most. So
Mary wanting to get some tsunami. Tsunami's trade, but I trade. Ooh.
Girl.
You should see her post on Facebook.
If you can find it.
Yeah. Message me. I'll send it to you. What do you think, Tsunami, about Miss Azure?
Well, I want the wig.
Period.
I would have said, let me have the wig. Y'all do y'all's thing, whatever. I just want to wear the wig. And yeah, I don't know. Realistically,
I thought it was top 3 for me.
Yeah, I believe so too. I believe definitely top. Yes.
I
love the hair.
I say that she's bottom 3, but she's top of the bottom 3 for me.
Oh yeah.
I felt like Bosco, Deja, and Irene were the best. Like, I love Bosco's. I mean, I love Deja, what she did. But we'll get to her in a minute. For Aja, I liked her energy, but I felt like she really needed those peaks and valleys. Like, what's his name? Carson was telling us, or said. And then Michelle's like, yes, you were amazing as the corpse. That's a read.
Come on, read.
Mary said, I can and I will. Ha ha. Next up we have Miss Phoenix. I had to look at her mix. I'm like, who the fuck?
Giving us very Trinity Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Old school Trinity Taylor.
Yes, Trinity Taylor, not Trinity the Tug. This is giving us Trinity Taylor. That is exactly what I thought of when I saw this. It was, I feel like she did good for Phoenix. I don't feel like it was as strong as the other girls. I feel like she was trying to figure it out, and I think she did okay, but I just feel like she did good for her, just not as strong as the other girls. But I love this wig. This is probably one of my favorite wigs from the challenge.
I did not like the wig as much. I liked it from the front. I don't like it from the side. Like how I captured it here, it looks too like there's just not enough shape to it. It needs to have like more volume at the crank, like right here. Because it's just kind of flat right there, and then
very much. Yep, I agree.
Overall, I liked her. You can tell acting is not her strong suit. It was very low energy. I love that she's like, can I sell my pussy in jail? Like, I thought that was cute, but it's just, I hate it for her because you can tell she was nervous, but like, I don't know. I would have gone to an improv class in Atlanta or something and taken a few acts just to get that nervousness out because like, you got 3 episodes.
I'm probably going to come off biased this season, but I have a really special place in my heart for the OGs because I started watching Drag Race technically I saw bits and pieces of season 1 because it was on Logo and it was really hard to watch Logo because only my grandmother had it. My parents, right down the street didn't have it. So, but I started watching on season 2 and I just have a special place in my heart because these are the drag queens I was raised on. So I have a really special place in my heart. Me being like 14 years old watching Drag Race season 2, which she was on season 3, I think. But I'm young. What? I'm young.
Yeah,
kind of. But
well, yeah. I agree. I mean, I do too. But I will say this: a positive, like because she's a friend of the podcast. So, Phoenix, if you're watching this. You are from your first season. This was phenomenal. This was like leaps and bounds. Like this was 5 stars out of your original season. So I mean, you've got growth. I just need you to like. We know you're a fierce fucking bitch, so we need to see that you're a fierce fucking bitch.
It's not like she's one of the queens that have been on like earlier season, but they've been on multiple franchises or multiple seasons of All Stars. Her and Nicole Paige Brooks have literally not been on Drag Race in like over almost 15 years. So I hold them to like a different standard because they are the OG queens and they have not been on a reality television like this since then. But I just look up to them so much because these are the queens that I was raised on. And her and Nicole Paige Brooks are like my queens. So
next up we have Miss Deja Sky.
she did so good. Like RuPaul even said, I loved how comfortable you were just like being able to like touch me and like get like all into it and stuff. Like you were very physical. I think she did amazing. I think she was top top 4 for the best of the challenge.
And I love how we had the moment with her in the workroom where she's like, I did horrible at that. I sucked. I was so bad. Like, and it was was it Olivia that said, or it was one of the queens said, you are so much harder on yourself than anybody else is. And like, the things that you're saying are not reality. Like, and it's very, very true. Like, she's very talented. She was very good. RuPaul complimented her. So like, but I mean, I get it. We all are our own worst critics, and nobody can read us like ourselves. And I think it's just she doesn't have the confidence because of being big and other things. Her confidence levels are really low, and I think that's probably a wall that she's put up or a shield that she's put up to try to protect herself from things. But she was very fucking like, just when she sat down, she didn't even have to open her mouth. I knew just from the look and how I knew what we were about to get. We were about to get that drunk aunt that comes to the family reunion that's trying to fuck everybody or everything. You want my pussy? Like, loved it.
Can you do that again?
You want my pussy?
Joseph Collins said he agrees with me on Phoenix. He says we worship the old gods, and I will die on that hill as well. We worship the OG queens, the legacies that built Drag Race and made it what it is today.
And then Joseph Collins said, and she was me after I took my ACT, and then I found out I got a 32. I cried the whole way home thinking I was dumb. Yeah, dumb. You fucking bitch. You got a 32 on your ACT. You fucking smart. You is special. You is top tier. You is a genius. You is.
Yeah, I didn't even take my ACT because I was going to take a trade. I was going to cosmetology school. It was a trade job. I didn't need my ACT, so I never took it.
Joseph, you did better than me. I made a 28 on my ACT. So. Mary said, let us tell you suck. Be delusional and believe in yourself. Come on, Deja. And Jeff said, I thought I'd gotten a 17. It went poorly. You could have been my brother and got a 14. Ding! All right, moving on along. We all like Deja, did we say?
Yes.
Okay.
Moving
on along, we go to Miss Bosco.
Love.
Yeah, she was in my top 4. When she took that eye patch up and like had no.
Well, you can't have a top 4. You can only have a top 2 or top 3. RuPaul's only saying 3, so we're only going to say 3. She names the top 3 every week.
Okay, well, in my head I have a top 4, but if we do top 3, it's going to be Bosco, Irene, and Aja.
You just saying Aja because she on your
No, because she had the most dialogue out of everybody. And yeah, maybe she didn't give the peaks and valleys.
No. It's not dialogue. It is all there was no script. So she just was talking.
Exactly, but she had the most screen time, so she had more dialogue to make up.
Well, because she had 2 parts she was having to play.
Exactly. So I feel like that needs to be
that was one part that was
I feel like that needs to be. They said she was super strong at the beginning and then she kind of like fell out and then she got stronger towards the end again. So I feel like she deserves to be in the top 3 just for having more scene time and having to come up with more dialogue.
Mary said, honestly, I thought Deja was going to win this one, but then Bosco walked in. Yeah. Bosco was funny as fuck. Joseph Collins said she looked like a band villain. Bosco had me rolling in my chair with that eye.
Like James Bond.
Same.
And y'all, you're doing a good job when you make RuPaul himself break character. I've never seen RuPaul break character in any scene.
I have.
Not where, like, only a few, but never where it was like added
like
into the
direct, but as an actor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah, I think Georges made him break character when they were filming on All Stars.
Well, yeah, but they weren't doing it live, like a live take.
Oh.
Now, I'm not counting any of that where you have 5 or 6 times to do it. This was sit down and they did it and they filmed it. And yeah.
Because Georges is like, period. I'm making RuPaul laugh.
Well, and then who was it? Angeria, she made her laugh with that slap, when RuPaul slapped her and she just kind of stumbled and did her.
Oh, you oogly bitch.
Oogly bitch. Just also said Darian Lake made him break so bad they changed the ending of the sketch. Oh, I forgot about that. You're right, Joseph. But yeah. So I thought she was great. And just, I don't know, her whole persona was just great for this. Then we have Irene the alien. Girl, when Irene sat there, Mary said Georges makes Rue's legs frack. Whenever she sat there and RuPaul was like, called her out and said, I know who you are. I forgot what it was. Guess that called out for me, somebody else. And then she changed her character and said, well, yes, I am. I cracked up.
But we kind of expected it because her saying she has a BFA in fine arts. Well, that's what BFA means. But yeah, Bachelor's of Fine Arts, BFA.
But, I mean, very good. But, I mean, this is one of the reasons that we, I think she's so exciting for us to watch is because we didn't get to see any of this in her original season because she was gone so quickly. So, like, we're seeing parts of her, and then she's a wild card because nobody else knew either.
I think she's going to be like a Jimbo where she went home early on her season and then she comes back and kills it in the challenges and the runways, but she just doesn't do well in the lip syncs.
Yep. What do you think, Tsunami?
I think she's going to do good. I think that she did really good there. Her makeup was very on point, and I really loved her outfits. They're really, really, really good. Very proud of her. So, yeah.
Yep. And the other thing is she listened. Like, she really listened.
Very much.
To her scene partner, RuPaul. And so that was allowed her to. And that's one of the critiques that somebody else didn't get is like you weren't listening to, I think that was what for our next queen, Olivia. Yeah.
It was very smart for her to do a double, like a character within a character.
Yep. And that's what that's what honestly Olivia's needed, and that's my thing for her. She was too committed to doing the accent, and it sounded very rehearsed. It was very boring. But we need, like you were just saying, we needed 2 characters. We needed the psychic that was from a and then we needed the woman behind it that was hiding. That's kind of like broken, and yeah,
we needed more depth from her.
Pits and valleys, or valleys and hills.
I agree.
After that, we get back to the workroom and we find out that Aja has 1 billion alliances. First, there's her Diamond class alliance with Olivia, or Operation Mimu. Then they both have an alliance with, and that's the Diamond Alliance. Then there's the Melanation Station with Deja, that Aja and Deja are both in, and that is the Platinum Alliance. Now she's trying to make a Gold Alliance with Irene. So who's going to be the silver and who's going to be the bronze? We also find out that Bosco and Bosco and Olivia had a moment where they've apologized for how out of hand their moment got earlier.
I think Bosco really apologized. I don't feel like she needed to, but I feel like it was very big of her. I think it was just to get the tension out of the room, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and Bosco's the one that initiated it. Yeah. So,
what do you mean? Like initiated the fight or the apology?
Bosco initiated the apology.
Well, yeah, she did it.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Olivia.
No,
probably.
no. I feel like Olivia started the fight, and Bosco was just trying to have banter and said something. But I feel like Bosco initiated the apology to talk to her because she wanted to cut the tension in the room because Olivia was so bothered by it, and Bosco literally said like one thing.
Yeah. I just commented, Alliance has got Monet and Trinity to the end. It also won Jimbo All-Stars 8. More of these girls need to get into these alliances. I agree with you, but I mean, Joseph, it's like Big Brother. Like when it's giving Audrey Middleton, where she's trying to be in alliance with every single person. And, eventually when you do that, that kind of starts biting you in the ass. But, we'll see.
Get Shangela and her alliances and where it got her on her All-Star season. Disliked. And when they let the queens choose the queens that she burned,
but to be fair to her, she was before her time, really. No one was ever talking about alliances up until that point. She was the first one to ever really bring it up, I think. So people were like, oh, you're playing. They didn't like how, and then they start realizing, oh, this is like more of a reality show competition. Maybe we should do alliances, because then that's when they start becoming popular.
A lot of them are friends anyway. Like Bosco knows Irene, they're friends. And then we know Olivia and Aja are in the same ballroom together. And then Bosco and Phoenix start getting close. And then Deja and is it Deja? Who does Deja get close to?
Deja's getting close to Phoenix, but she's also getting close. She's in an alliance with Aja and Olivia.
And then Aja and Irene, girl, they all over the place.
Thorgy stood 10 toes down with Shangela. This is the Thorgy Stan account. Yes, queen.
Thorgy, I remember Thorgy distinctly from that because when Shangela came, she's like, I would be down for an alliance.
Then after Olivia gets through with this apology, she goes over to talk to Aja, and then she gets mad because Aja won't promise her badge to her until she knows the circumstances that they are in. Because she's like, what if I'm in the top and what if you're in the bottom? What if we're both in the bottom? What if, you're in the top and I'm in the bottom, And I think that's very fair of Aja, and I don't think Olivia should be getting pissed that someone's not going to sit there and promise something when they don't know what's going to happen. I mean, that's smart.
Yeah.
Move to the main stage. Our guest judge this week is Coleman Domingo from the Big Gay Sketch Show. I did not realize that's who that was until he said Big Gay Sketch Show, and then I recognized him because he looks so different. But we bring to the stage Olivia with her look, and the main stage look is coming and going, a design that looks one way from the front and another way from the back.
I really like this look. It was very well put together. I would say I'm gonna mop it today.
I would also mop it.
I think it was honestly the concept was strong. I just feel like not everybody, I thought it was going to be like two completely separate looks. Some of the girls used props, which I thought was creative. Some of the girls, it was like the same dress, but with something added on the back. So I don't know. I feel like the girls could have done a little bit better with it, but I feel like Lux did amazing with this. Like she was probably one of the strongest with the runways. So I would mop it.
Cool. We would all mop it. Moving on is Miss Irene, the alien. I thought it was interesting. It was I'm gonna mop it. But yeah, I did not. I wish that we had seen, I wish they had modeled the back more, because a lot of them, it was very. So if I have a hard time getting a screenshot of the back of what it looks like, then it's hard, because but model it, and that's what I wish all of these queens would do more, is model your look so we can see it. But yeah,
I did like it. It's definitely a mop it.
Miss Dakota.
She said it was giving Sarah Palin. I got more Hillary Clinton meets Mars Attacks.
Hillary Clinton wouldn't be wearing red. Red's a Republican color. So that's why she said Sarah Palin.
I would just say meh. Mar-a-Lago makeup filter in the best way.
100%.
I'm just gonna say meh because it's not. The wig is a cute touch with the alien in it. I don't know. Her looks are so strong. I just feel like this isn't as strong of a look for her, so it's just kind of meh for me.
Next up we have Miss Bosco.
Slay the day for me. Slay the day.
Same.
I know it's not technically 2 looks. It is a prop, but I thought she played it up. It was very camp. She played it up on the runway. She was like bantering with RuPaul. Like, RuPaul, are you ready? She's up here for you. And the whole like Elvira, the Elvira reference, I loved it. It was my slay of the day.
Mary doesn't like it. Mary says it feels too costumey for her.
It is very camp and it is very proppy. But what were you gonna say, Tsunami?
So I'm going to say I'm gonna mop this. I don't think it's the slay of the day. To me, I do apologize, but it's not my slay of the day.
Cool.
It is borderline of like having 2 separate looks because it is a prop at the end of the day. I just really like the banter and the campness of it. And like the runway presentation. That's why I'm giving it the slay of the day. My other slay of the day, if I could have picked 2, would have been Olivia's.
Yeah, I think Olivia's is my slay of the day.
You didn't give that earlier.
Yeah.
Cool.
But,
y'all did not watch Untucked. You find out that it was difficult to get her a coffin to look snatched, but they found a way. And the guy that created the coffin has an OnlyFans account where he's a carpenter, and he sits on a stool while he works that's bottomless, and he's got a camera down there, and he's got an OnlyFans that shows his balls, dick, and asshole dangling while he does woodwork.
Okay.
I don't want to see. I kind of want to just like I want to get a screenshot just to see how that works. Like, I'm kind of interested. Like, that is a bold move to have no bottoms on while you do woodwork, like a splinter in the dick.
I could have gone the rest of my life without knowing that information.
Girl. Mary says, Mother Bosco. Mary also says, you had to have a prob baby. Joseph said, her telling RuPaul to hop in the coffin like SpongeBob and Patrick with Squidward took me out.
I didn't know if RuPaul was going to play with it or she was going to flip her off.
And then Joseph said, Bosco drove instead of flew just so she could bring this. Yeah. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Next up, we have Miss.
It shipped. I think she had it shipped to RuPaul's
Irene Dubois.
Delivered it.
Not Irene. We have Miss
I would mop it because I love it's giving origami in the front, and then it's giving very like almost like
blown out pussy in the back.
It's giving like Peter, what is it? Oh my god, the Robin Williams Peter Pan movie with like the forest and the big towers everywhere. That's what it's giving.
I think it looks like a blown out pussy.
I would mop it.
What about you, Tsunami?
I'm gonna popcorn past this one. It's not really my I don't know.
It's
There's
giving
just too
origami
much
about
going
rain.
on. It is giving origami, yes, and then
Also,
flower.
Colin said it looks like the flower from Jumanji.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Never watched it. Don't know.
Never did, no. So I don't know, but yeah, origami and then flower on the back. There's a lot going on, but I would definitely say popcorn pass.
I would mop it.
Next up, we have Miss Phoenix.
I liked the look. I felt like it had a lot going on, but then the more I looked at it and saw the concept, I don't think it on the runway it looked as well, but it photographs well. Like the concept photographs well. And then she had her story behind it. This heartfelt story about losing her sister to COVID and how she had a lot of dark days and, you know, she made it through and made it to the light on the other side. So she dedicated this look to her sister. I would mop it. It is not my slay of the day. I would mop it. I just don't feel like it read well on the runway, but it photographed well.
I'm gonna agree with Dakota.
Yeah. I would mop it as well. It's a high mark for me just because it was something different from what everyone else was doing. And I got the reference kind of really quickly. So
and it was two separate looks. One of the only girls that actually gave two separate cohesive looks.
But I will say, anybody watching, if you're going on RuPaul's Drag Race, we have seen rains and clouds and storms and all that. We've seen it from two different queens on two different seasons back to back. Please retire this look. Please quit doing this. Please, please, please. It's going to become a Marie Antoinette thing.
My middle name is Rain, honey. And if I go on Drag Race, you better believe I'm going to have one look that is a play on my middle name.
Well, play on your middle name is fine. But like I'm saying, yeah, no.
I'm giving you Rain check with Dakota Rain.
Well, then do it different than how we've seen it because we've seen this before. All I'm saying. Next up, we have Miss Aja.
I thought Aja's, I would mop it. I thought Aja's look was really good. They said her look was a little, it had a lot going on, but they said it worked. Michelle said it worked. So I would mop it.
I love it. I didn't like the back, but I like the front. So I'm gonna go on and mop it.
Heard that before.
Yeah. I'm torn on this one. I'm torn between mopping it and saying popcorn pass. Because like I like the front. I just don't like the fabric. I don't like how flimsy and see-through it is. It's just the back is too messy for me. I'm gonna popcorn pass it. So
it's giving very National Treasure, like with the eye,
wishes,
and the gold in the sun. It's giving very National Treasure.
It needs to elevate a little bit more for it to hit that level for me.
And Demons meets National Treasure, which those movies are technically connected, but still.
After we get through with the critiques, we find out that Irene and Bosco have snatched the top two. Do we agree?
Yes, and again, how did I know that Bosco was going to slay this lip sync again?
Here's my thing with Irene. And Tsunami probably will know what I mean when I say this, because Dakota's not seen as many lip syncs in person. Irene is coming across on TV as a very basic lip syncer, and why I say that is she does a lot of weird things with her face or her eyes, but then she walks to this side of the stage and back, this side of the stage and back. There's not really much else in there. And the screenshot I got here is at the very beginning when they first started her lip sync. I could have had probably 75 screenshots of Bosco because she's very slow with what she's doing. Irene is doing this right here. And it's just very chaotic and hard to watch. And when someone's doing that, to me, it's like shows that they're not confident yet, which this is her first lip sync. So, or her second lip sync, but
But we also know that Bosco on her season was a lip sync assassin as well as Aja. So we kind of knew that they were going to be very strong performers.
Mary says Irene does good. It's not Trixie or Jimbo. Yeah, well, I would say she is Trixie or Jimbo because Trixie and Jimbo really didn't win their lip syncs either. So, I would say she's kind of given, it's a chaotic energy. And for lip sync, it needs to be kind of confident. And confidence is kind of like deliberate, like, having clean lines and giving, moments.
Yep.
And I'm sorry, whenever you're performing next to somebody with the body of Bosco, who takes her top off and she's wearing this underneath.
But she also, too, I will say with Bosco, she did the reveal like the last 30 seconds of the song. So I will give her that.
How to do a reveal.
Did not rely on, although she does show her body a lot on the last 2 or 3 runways we've seen, she did not rely on her body in this performance. She relied on the dress.
If I had been lip syncing against Bosco and Bosco had done this, I would have just sat down and been like, just give it to her. At that point, it's over.
Mary said I would give her $1. Talking about Irene.
Yeah.
Damn.
But let's see. Yeah, they lip sync to Sophie Ellis's Baxter's "Murder on the Dance Floor," the gay national anthem. Bosco pirouetted into power and snatched the win, and is leaving the scoreboard tied with 4 points. Aja had 3 and the rest with just 1. So now it's all down to alliances, math, and maybe a little treachery. Episode 3 promises makeovers on basketball players. And there was only 3 basketball players shown, and there's 6 queens. So I'm wondering, are they going to tag team up and be doing this as like teams of 2?
I would say so. Maybe one does the outfit, one does the makeup.
If so, then it's going to be, if they're smart, it's going to be Bosco and Irene as a team. It's going to be Aja and Olivia as a team. And then it's going to be Deja and Phoenix as a team. Because that's kind of how they're pairing up right now. Mm-hmm. If they get to choose, but we'll see. But anyway, from brackets to bounce passes, we are not in Kansas anymore. So, what's your bracket prediction, dolls? Who's making it to the semifinals and who's going home with just a shout out and a flight voucher?
I think, as of right now, looking at the numbers, Irene, Bosco, and Aja, I still think, although Aja is in my draft pick, I still think Aja. Do we know what? So the makeup. Oh gosh, this is going to be probably a makeover challenge.
And it is a makeover challenge.
Ooh, and
I just said that.
List at makeovers. Ooh. Irene is really strong at makeup. Oh God. I feel like one of the girls that only has 1 point each, one of those girls is going to be in the top this upcoming week. I think it's either going to be maybe Olivia or maybe Phoenix. But I say Aja, Irene, and Bosco are probably going to be the top 3 that make it. Mackenzie's got trade secrets. She's making faces. See, I like to be surprised. I can't spoil my surprise. I don't like to read ahead. She's the girl in class that read ahead. She'd be a whole page or 2 ahead of everybody else and just
No. You are lying. I would be 3 chapters ahead. They would tell us, okay, we're going to read this book in class. We want you to read chapter 1 and 2 this weekend. And I would have read the whole book. Yep. And I think that's just being a Big Brother fan and everything. Like, you have to look into school. You have to know, yeah. So that's part of that.
And not having a social life.
I feel like, yeah. I feel like I've made mine, but I'm going to say one from each bracket. So from your bracket, I think Aja's moving forward. From my bracket, I think Irene's moving forward. And from Tsunami's, I think Costco's moving forward. 100%.
So we basically have at least 2 or 3 strong people, at least one strong person from each color in our eyes that are going to be in the top. So at least we all got a top contender in orange.
Well, saying color will get you in trouble. Yeah. And I think that's going to be, hold on, let's look at really quick before we go. Then what's the next group? I think the next group is pink. So out of yours, Dakota, I think you've got Lydia will be great. Out of pink on me, I'm going with Mistress. And then out of pink on Tsunami, she's got one pink. I'm going to say Georges.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we go to purple, well, you've only got one purple, so I'm going to say Ginger Minge for you. I've only got one, so it's going to have to be Miss Diabetes for me. And then on Tsunami,
she got 3.
I'm going to say Alyssa Hunter.
We're shocked that she chose Alyssa Hunter.
I'm going to say Alyssa or Acid. I think it's going to be one of those two. Yeah. But yeah. I think we got good ones.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited.
So let us know, everyone, what y'all think. Who's your bracket predictions? Who's going to make it to the semifinals? And let's see. Let me close out of that.
It's a murder on the dance floor.
All right. Well, just like that, we have reached the end of our bracketed buffoonery where wigs flew, points were plotted, and lip syncs left us gagging harder than Michelle Visage at a vegan brunch. Yes. And if this is the tournament of all-stars, baby, we've already emotionally eliminated and spiritually lip-syncing for all of our lives. Dakota and Tsunami, where can everyone follow you at?
It is Dakota
and Tsunami. Miss Tsunami.
Oh, sorry.
You can follow me on Instagram, Tsunami Rain Duval, TSUNAMI RAYNE DUVALL, and on Facebook.
If you can find it.
If you can find
it.
Dakota, where can they find you, hon?
Yes, so I have both of my I have my Instagram and my Facebook linked to the live now, and I will every week for the rest of the season, thankfully, because I got that all set up. But it's Dakota Rain with an E, Dakota Rain with an E, XOXO, on Facebook and Instagram. Dakota Rain with 3 E's on Snapchat, Dakota Rain Wages on YouTube, and it's also Dakota Rain XOXO on TikTok. So
cool. And y'all can follow me at Instagram or TikTok at KinseyJoe205 or on Twitter at Kinsey_reality. And be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss a single shady second. Follow us everywhere at Couch Potato Queens or Couch Potato QNZ on on Twitter. We also have a website. You can follow us at www.couchpotatoqueens.com. That does go to our YouTube channel. If you're on our YouTube channel and you're watching this live, do us a huge favor. We're about to end the live stream. Just stay there. As soon as it ends, hit refresh, click like, and comment on the actual post. Commenting in the live chat doesn't really count towards our numbers, but if you could comment on this video, it would help us so much. We will be back here next Friday night to cover, we don't know what episodes, because we didn't know they were going to release 2, and they released 2, so it may just be episode 3, and they may release 2 for each new bracket, but we'll see. But we will be back here next Friday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, stay fierce, stay fabulous, and most importantly, don't fuck it up. Good night, queens.